Welcome, everyone. We'll just give it a few more minutes until everybody joins. Seems like quiet days today with choppy markets and Memorial Day in the States. But we look forward to sharing with you some updates on our roadmap, where we are and where we're going shortly. Cool. I think we're 5 minutes past the time announced. So I think it's about a good time to start. Cool, guys. So thank you for being here. This is now our sixth BabelFish community call. This is really exciting. From now on, we're going to be having this weekly calls. It is now happening every other week. We figure this is the best way to keep updates relevant and not tire the community. And so we do in every community, just to share some sort of community numbers. Right now, our Discord has 3,229 members. Our Twitter is at 1,634 and Telegram at 1,186. We also mentioned in the previous call that a member of our community, Novax, he's also opened an Instagram account, a Facebook account, publish 0x to enable different contributors to write content until we have an official Medium post. And he also has taken the initiative of creating a BabelFish art syndicate, which is pretty cool. It's basically a way to organically enable the community that wants to contribute to BabelFish community via memes or more creative artistic collaboration, and then see how that grows by the community in an organic way. Eventually, we can even do some sort of like cool NFT drops to the community. In terms of stablecoin industry updates, I think it's also cool to start discussing those briefly in these calls. There is, I don't know if you guys have seen, but right now, USDC has been growing really fast, but there are some concerns that their audits are not as clean and on time as they used to be. So there are some concerns about where the collateral is being lent. But at the same time, it continues being the most trusted stablecoin on DeFi and gaining pace, and that's why DAI, it's now, I think it's about to be over 50% of its collateral. It's going to be USDC. So it's really interesting to note, especially as we prepare to have BabelFish's basket at launch. It's going to consist of Tether, USDC, Binance USD, and DAI. It's interesting to consider how USDC it's actually also over 50% of DAI, and that's why it's important to keep on growing that basket. Cool. In addition to that, continuing to discuss about the industry overall, Sovereign, which is where we expect to launch, they just shared some statistics as well. They have right now over 40 million USD in total value locked. And so that's really exciting for us. It took them a long time to get there, relatively speaking, less than half a year, but they're there now and growing faster by the day. So we're really excited to be launching with them, and we are setting ourselves some high goals that we want to achieve in terms of the liquidity that we want to bring to really service Sovereign in terms of deep stablecoin liquidity. So really excited about that. In addition to that, as you may have seen in the announcements, we have the BabelFish logo winner by a member of our community, Hyde, which is really cool. That really shows how we are creating community-driven protocol even before we have governance. Not all decisions are perfect. Some decisions are still being done in a centralized way. Otherwise, it would be complete chaos. But this is really what we want to stick by. We're really happy with the result so far. So we will be updating our logo from the puffer fish emoji over to Hyde's logo throughout the coming days. And then finally, the community has been quiet over the past few days. We believe this is mostly just because of, again, just choppy markets and Memorial Day, and people just waiting to hear when the sale is going to be taking place. So integration with Sovereign, which is the first phase of BabelFish before having our own app. We're first focused on providing deep stablecoin liquidity to Sovereign. We're really happy to report that is almost complete. It's still being tested. And so we want to make sure that this is released properly and not in a rushed manner. And we want to release this integration in parallel to the token sale. So we want people to, to be able to purchase fish tokens and then immediately see what the product does, at least on its very alpha stage. And so we've been promising to do it at the end of May, early June, and we're actually ready to start releasing it the week of June 7th. But given the market conditions and the conference happening now in Miami, a lot of noise, just to do it right, we're going to be delaying it until the week of June 14th. So it's just going to be another week just to make sure that we have a proper rollout in terms of product, and then that the sale is really also smooth. And so in addition to having that extra spare time to make sure that everything is working as it should, we will also be conducting some additional marketing just to make sure that people are aware of what we're doing. Besides the large community that we've grown organically here with you guys together, we believe that we need to start doing some marketing. All of this community, everybody here, everybody has heard either through word of mouth or via Sovereign or via blockchain whispers, and it's amazing. And we have spent zero in marketing. All of the funds that are being spent, it's only on development. We're all here because we want this to work, and we're pushing this together. So we're really excited to now start doing some push on proper marketing with influencers, etc., and just really start making some noise in preparation for middle of June. So that is a date that we can stick by for the middle of June. Again, we're ready to do it next week, but we really want to be sure this is done in a controlled manner, and that we have enough breathing room, and we don't feel like this is rushed. And so this is really the best way to go. And I think those are the main updates. So we can expect to have BabelFish running to start accepting different stablecoins and to use them as X Usd by the middle of June. And then in parallel, we will have the token sale. And then further down the roadmap, we expect to have the governance portal ready for BabelFish to start making decisions together as a community in terms of the collateral that we will accept or the protocols where we will lend. We expect to have that again end of June or early July. Again, this is subject to change, but just in the benefit of transparency, and this is the whole point of this community calls to share with you and get feedback and to be aligned. So cool. I think those are my 10 minutes, my 7-10 minutes of updates. Now, what's most the funnest part of these calls? It's opening it up for questions. So anybody that wants to speak up, has any questions about the roadmap, about how they can contribute with marketing, or anything else, just feel free to raise your hand, and we will give you the floor. Thank you, guys. Hi, Sam. Sam, you have the floor, but you're muted.
Okay, sorry. So I wanted to ask, what is the use case for X USD? So would it be possible to do yield farming with X USD, when we send in USDT for collateral or any other kind of stable coin?
Cool. Yes. So what is the purpose of XUSD? That's a great question. I think it's always good, for new members to explain, to hear about what we're building. So right now, as we go into a multi-chain world, there are many bridges being created between all of these protocols. And so, for example, in Rootstock, which is where Sovereign is being built, you have USDC, sorry, RUSDC, and then you can have like RUSDC1, which is in a different bridge. And the same case goes for RUSDT or RDAI. There isn't one single bridge or one standard. And so what happens is that all of these stable coins that are supposed to represent dollars, they're being fractured, not only between different brands like USDC or DAI, but also by different bridges. Now, what BabelFish's main value proposition is to simply be the best choice for users that want to bridge their stablecoins over to a different chain. So why would they use BabelFish? So if you're in Ethereum and you have USDC or DAI, and you come to BabelFish and you lock it, basically Sovereign will accept all of these different stablecoins and it will just pull them into one single stablecoin called XUSD, right? And so this will provide just deeper stablecoin liquidity instead of fracturing it. It will also look nicer from a user interface perspective to just have one single XUSD in your wallet where you can deposit or withdraw any stablecoin from any chain. And then on top of that, it's also hedging stablecoin risks, right? So there is potential risk that, for example, one of the major stablecoins could fail one day. But what BabelFish does is that it has a basket of different stablecoins that will be accepted or rejected by us through governance. So you're distributing the risk. And then what we're doing, we're taking that collateral from the parent chain and we're lending it in battle-tested lending protocols such as Aave and Compound. And then we're earning stablecoins on stablecoins. And what we're doing with that, we're going to be moving it periodically through our system and purchase Bitcoin and eventually grow enough Bitcoin, a Bitcoin insurance pool, so that in case there is some sort of systemic failure, we have some sort of like Bitcoin insurance pool that we can make whole the users that get affected. And that's where governance will get really interesting because as fish holders, we get to decide how do we use this insurance pool, how much should we purchase, how we deploy it, etc. But in essence, that is the whole purpose of BabelFish. In terms of earning yield with it, that's being brought up by different members of the community. How can we use XUSD further? We're starting with Sovereign to do sort of like a proof of concept about how important it is to start creating standards and unify all of this stablecoin liquidity and utility combined. And then once we're successful with Sovereign, then we can begin to expand and eventually also have XUSD perhaps being lent out in different protocols. But what we're doing right now, it's aggregating stablecoin liquidity, reducing risk, and simplifying UI. Yeah, that's how we're starting at first. But there's going to be a lot of exciting things happening in government, driven by this main idea, which is how can we enhance stablecoin flow and benefit Bitcoin and provide user protections in a decentralized way as much as we can. It's a very long explainer, but I hope that you now understand what we're building. TM.
Hi there, Tom here. So
Hey there.
my question would be, how are you planning to pool all those stable coins? How are you rebalancing it? Is it based on expected demand, or is it like on an in an instant basis, or what's the plan on there? Or have you any documents to read up on that?
Yes, that's a great question. So most of the development right now has been happening under the hood. We will be opening the developer channel on Discord soon after we are live, as well as sharing our GitHub. Right now, the way that it works, it's simply just accepting stablecoins and Ethereum for the alpha stage. And bringing and bridging them over by leveraging sovereigns bridges. But the plan over the short term, given the DeFi's composability, there's some cool work that has been done out there in terms of balancing the basket. One example, for example, it's mstable, and we are likely also going to be exploring Curve. But yeah, we will definitely be providing incentives and disincentives based on the collateral or on the stablecoin that you're providing. And as I mentioned before, we will also be evolving the governance further with time in terms of the proportion of fish that a user should be earning or entitled to based on the stablecoin collateral that they provide. So these are many questions that will need to be answered in time. But right now, we really see an immediate need to just aggregate liquidity to bring it over to sovereign in a very simple way. And that's what we're going to be starting with, aware of the solutions that we need to implement shortly and that we hope to decide together via governance.
Okay, thanks. So it will be like a liquidity mining event with rewards and stuff to spur it up in the beginning?
Yeah, so at first, liquidity mining is probably going to take about a month or so until we completely nail it down. So liquidity mining will take probably about a month until from governance being launched. These are decisions that we really want to coordinate with you guys. There's various ways in which we can reward liquidity providers. Or also LPs for the automated market maker in Sovereign. So to decide these parameters, really make this right in a decentralized way. It's not something that can be taken in a centralized way. So that's why the governance is in our roadmap as in the near term for the end of June, early July, so that we can start deciding that ASAP.
Understand. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Ishak?
Hi. You said about the token sale being postponed till 14th of June. Is there a chance that we will relook into this sale, or is it final that it is going to happen on 14th of June or during that week?
Yeah, so the sale could happen, by next week. We just are delaying it just to make sure that it's not rushed and to make sure that it's really going to work as it should. So given that, I don't think that we will delay it further than the week of June 14th, right? So it can be anywhere from June 14th until June 21st. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And we will, all of that, of course, we will be announcing it here on Discord and on Telegram with enough lead time. And of course, we want to also, we will also be doing some marketing. So if you have some ideas on how you want to help promote it, feel free to to either message me directly or go to the Bounties channel, and there's a spreadsheet there which you can fill as an experimenter. And we're still looking at it, and it's being organized further by the different teams that we are creating. And so yeah. Thank you, Tishak.
Thanks, Ben.
All right, another question. I didn't got the point fully on. I know you're lending out the stable coins into other platforms, and what's the measure of it? Like how much you try to lend out? Is it like, I don't know, 5% or 50% or whatever? And the remaining part is available for swaps. Is that right?
Again, so these are good questions, and so the way that it was originally being proposed is that we can actually just because the way that DeFi markets work, we know the availability of funds that we have, and in fact by lending we can increase the availability of funds that we have, and so so long as we're tracking that on the front end as well. And with Web3, we can just tell users, what's the limit that they can withdraw and deposit based on the basket availability. Now, in terms of the parameters, again, originally, once someone wants to withdraw, it's just a matter of waiting, the amount required until it can be pulled from the lending protocols. In terms of the amount being lent, originally, the very basic proposal was to lend 100%. Then community members suggested just lending 80%, and then lending 80% and keeping 20% just for a security buffer, like you're saying right now. And so these are all things. All of these parameters needs to be decided as a community. These are our community funds. We're doing this together. And it's all experimental, right? Like as we've seen with Maker or with Terra Money, it takes time and it's a lot of decisions, and there needs to be proper discussion. And the same goes in the amount of Bitcoin and frequency that we will be purchasing the Bitcoin insurance. Do we want to purchase 100%, or do we only want to purchase 80%, and then keep 20% again, just distributed across baskets in different chains and rebalancing, or do we want to do fish purchases? So possibilities are really endless, and we expect to have wide conversations here until we finally come up with some decisions, which are likely not to be set in stone. They're likely to be changing based on market conditions too. So the answer in short, it's this is all TBD, which is to be discussed and to be disclosed. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for the answers. May I suggest a way of, like on the Sovereign Forum, it's a very nice and neat way to gather so much different opinions, and so everyone who's interested to participate can voice his own opinions about certain things like collateral or whatever. So in my opinion, that would be a very good idea for Fish too.
Yeah, absolutely. So not just voicing your opinion, but voting on them. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Joby.
Hey, I'm Joby, and I'm from a design company named Dynamic Art Studio. And we have recently created an NFT for Sovereign, and they had shared it on their social media and their art and memes channel, etc. and we believe that it gained much attention, so it got sold out. And we are also looking forward to BabelFish as well, and since it seems exciting. And would you guys like us to create some NFT for you as well?
Boom. Thank you, Joby. I'm not sure. Well, thank you for offering this. I'm not sure this is the place to discuss that, but we will definitely. I'm sure that members of our community would like to hear more about what you can bring to the table, to the community. So if you go to the bounties channel at the very beginning, there is a form in there, which is basically looking for DeFi experimenters. If you can fill that form and you can refer to your comment on this call, we will make sure that the relevant person in the community reaches out to you, and we schedule a brief conversation and see how we can help BabelFish together.
Okay, thank you.
Joby. Novax.
Sorry that I think I was muted. I just wanted to quickly answer and say, Joby, I've just messaged you, and yeah, let's talk more about that. I like what you're doing with NFTs. I think it's really cool. So yeah, let's chat about it, and maybe through BabelFish art, or maybe you can help with the other design stuff, or just let's start talking and get involved in our design channel on the Discord server.
Amazing. Thank you, Novax. Cool. So we're now 25 minutes since the call started, 26 minutes. We're trying to keep these calls about 30 minutes. So yes, if you guys have any questions, and then we will probably adjourn the call. The recording will stop, and some of us will stay in here for another 5 minutes in case some of you are microphone shy, but shouldn't be. We're all here with pseudonyms, and we're trying to build something together. So all feedback is welcome.
On that note, anyone who wants to check out our first podcast episode 0, Flametail and I had recorded, I think it's about 40-minute podcast episode, when we got a really cool little animated pixel art intro. It's going to be developing over time. It's pretty primitive, so don't judge it too critically, please. We're having fun with that. And the podcast content is going to be a lot about the community and what the community is doing, and also about larger issues in crypto that are relevant to BabelFish. So anyone who wants to listen to that and check it out and comment and get involved and come on as a guest, or maybe hopefully our aim in the future is to make this a community podcast where maybe as people move up the leaderboard on the stats on our Discord server, they can begin hosting podcast episodes or coming on as guests, and maybe not using that as the metric, but just kind of proposing that as one possible way that we could identify people who are really actively engaged in the community, and invite you guys to come on the podcast and talk about it.
Or was that shared Novax? That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's not shared yet, but just probably in a couple of hours, once you make some final edits, we noticed some things that were wrong with the animation that were just really bugging us. So we're going to change that really quick and then roll it out probably this afternoon, is my hope.
Super.
It's morning my time, by the way, so sometime in probably the next 4 or 6 hours is my what I'm thinking.
Soon,
very soon. So yeah, that's something that's going on, and yeah, I would love to hear all of your guys' feedback. We were kind of thinking about doing an after party today in Decentraland, but I'm not terribly up for it, and I don't have all my stuff configured to do that. But I think we should maybe plan that, because I think it could be really fun for us to run around Decentraland together and talking about BabelFish.
Good suggestion for sure. Flametail?
Sounds like a good idea. Yeah, definitely. We can do that after the next community call. We can have time to set something up, and get some more chit chat in and talk about BabelFish. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so let's aim for 2 weeks from now. Hey, Hyde is here. How are you doing, Hyde?
Hello, guys.
Hey.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, coming through loud and clear.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask about that. Is there going to be a testnet for BabelFish so people could participate in it?
Yeah, so the testnet, that's what's happening right now. We plan on rolling it out, ready to go, ready to use. Yeah, so we're not likely to be opening the testnet for the public. The devs are busy on that, and again, after that, we will begin opening up from the development channel over to the GitHub. Right now, it's a bit under the hood, and that's how they prefer to operate until they see the baby coming out, and then opening it up to the public.
Okay, thank you. And another question, again, when the governance is going to run?
We expect the governance platform to be up on BabelFish.money end of this month, end of June, early July.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Hyde. Cool. I think we can stop the recording now. I don't know how. Yeah, we're gonna stop the recording now. Thank you, Flametail, if you can do that.
Yeah, I'm on it. Thank
you all for listening. And then, thank you. Yeah.